Under Washington D.C. and under New York Central Park, God was showing me that's what I could recognize. But He said that that's who He protected me from. That these traffickers were trafficking kids to do satanic rituals, and the technology that they were using was advanced, was specifically used to cloak their conditions to traffic kids efficiently and effectively. So He's showing me this, and He says, He said that He's going to destroy them, and He's going to get these kids out. He's going to use a man like Moses. He's going to go down in these tunnels. He's going to use the Holy Spirit power, and those temples, those satanic temples, are going to fall, and He's going to bring out those kids. And that's how God was showing it to me. And as I'm looking at that and just trying to understand things, and because at that time I'm like, child sacrifice, people doing this stuff, I mean, that doesn't go on, right? That's medieval stuff, you know what I mean? That's Salem witch trials and stuff like that, People don't kill kids. That don't happen. And he led me to the Old Testament prophets, and how God brought judgments to these different nations because they dived heavily into child sacrifice. They were following demons, and the demons wanted child sacrifice. And it's just, man, it's heartbreaking stuff, man. It's heartbreaking stuff. I don't like hearing it, man. I don't like hearing it, especially if you got kids. I mean, this stuff is just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that it's happening now. And anyways, okay. So after I was seeing that, I was just in a lot of disbelief. I couldn't believe what I was, seeing. I didn't really understand, didn't know how to compute with it. And I ended up, the operation was still out there, was still out in the desert, because you would still see those sand rails out there with the blue glow stick. They were still out there, and you don't see that. You don't see that out there in the desert. Not where I'm at, anyways. So they were, it was like a night operation. The blue glow stick. They're using their night vision goggles, and the blue glow stick is to identify them. It's the only way I can make sense of it. Anyway, so about 3 days later, after contact with the international human trafficking operation, the satanic international human trafficking operation, I went out to the desert, and no one gives you any trouble out there, right? And there's easy access, and you can just get up and go. And as I'm trying to get onto the, right over there, I ended up getting blocked by a dune buggy, and he starts intimidating me, matching my speed, not letting me into the the turnoff right there to just go sit in the desert where all this stuff happened. So it was an intimidation factor, that, hey, we're watching you type of thing, just intimidation. And when they did that, it overplayed their hand, where it's just like, I'm looking at that, I'm going, okay, so it's not just in my head, something's going on, because if they're retaliating like this or doing that intimidation thing, then that means something's going on. So remember, guys, I'm a doubting Thomas, and this stuff is just pretty crazy for me. This stuff's pretty crazy for me. Like I said, I wouldn't believe any of this stuff prior to 2017. The stuff, the supernatural stuff of the, gifts of the Holy Spirit. You hear about it, you know what I mean, but you don't see it. Yeah, that's a whole nother talk. That's the way I was brought up. You just hear about it, but you don't see it. And people, the things that you do see, it was, they're fake. They're fake. or some type of scam going on, right? Something like that. Anyways, but that was my perception. So maybe so at that point, after I saw the doom buggies in the desert, I started like, okay, well, who are they? Are they military? Are they cartel? I need to tell someone, right? I need to tell someone. This isn't normal. What the crap's going on? I'm just going crazy. And if there's kids really out there being trafficked, law enforcement needs to know, right? So I ended up going to Border Patrol, talk to one Border Patrol, tell them what's going on, and they're just like, okay, we got something to identify what you're talking about. So they, the guy said that he knew about the type of cloaking tech that I was talking about. And then after that, I spoke with the chief of Intel, and he was real curious about it. And after that, I went to the Marine base and told them about it. And I'm just looking crazy, like, hey guys, I went out to the desert, UFOs out in the desert. God led me, and as I was following these UFOs and trying to, see them, there's international human trafficking operation that they shot at me, and so I wasn't making too much sense because I didn't fully understand everything at the time. I was just trying to piece it together, just saying, is it you guys? Was it you guys out here, that shot at me because they're using some type of tech going on? I don't know. Anyways, so they took it down. They took my information down, and but it was just the MPs. It wasn't intelligence. Anyways, so after that, the operation stayed active for maybe from the time that when it first initially happened. It was out there in the desert 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. Those doom buggies were out there doing night operations, and before that doesn't happen. They don't do that. You don't see. I mean, it could happen, but the timing of it is just too precise. It's not going to happen.